Judy, are you good to go?
No. Do we need to invite Tracy?
We'll see, just a minute. Calling to order this, planning and zoning public hearing for July 3rd, 2024. It's about 6 o'clock. How about that? So our first order of business is not on the agenda, but I'd like to introduce a new member to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Our latest addition is an alternate. That's Tracy Wheeler. She's sitting down here in the audience. This is Dave Burton, Councilman Dave Burton, sitting in on our commission. Jerry Vesley. I'm Larry Zajac, Heather Pete, and Keith Naylor. We're missing a couple people, but you'll get to know them too. Thanks for volunteering for this. And since we are short one member tonight, come on up and you can.
Wesley.
Fire.
Do we need a motion to open the public forum? We did? Yeah, we're good. Okay, first order of business is the public hearing, and we're here to receive public comment regarding a zone change from commercial to residential 3, and that's on parcel number A 2019-0003-0000. When you come up, I'll give you some background on that just a little bit. Judy, can you bring the parcel up so that we can see it on the screen? That's all right. We've got a minute.
Excuse me.
Actually, it'd be nice if we could look at it in the GIS viewer, just so we can see the spatial location. There you go. Thank you. Then the other one we want to look at while we're talking about this one will be the zoning map. Zoning map. Zoning map.
Zoning map.
Have all these tools.
Zoning map.
I think you're about to tell people, say their name and stuff like that.
Okay. Are you queued up, Judy? Okay. No, we'll work with this one for a minute. So the applicant here is Brody Swanson. We have a 10-acre parcel, and it's in the vicinity of the Eagle Rock subdivision. So on the screen here, the easiest way is I'll point to this parcel right here. So this is the Eagle Rock subdivision, all these smaller squares. This is the 10-acre parcel. that's in question. So it's currently zoned commercial in that area. Can you show the zoning map now, Judy? There we go. So it's the lower parcel there. There you go. Perfect. So it's that parcel, and the yellow zoning is commercial. So as you can see, there's commercial all around that. So typically what we look for in code is we want to be relatively consistent. We don't like to create islands, and we don't like to create peninsulas in zoning, and so as we look for that, for guidance, we look to our future land use map, which we call the flume. It's part of the city's general plan, and we look for guidance. This particular area in the flume, where all the yellow is, had originally been projected to be industrial, and the flume that we have is quite outdated, I'll just say that. And as you can see, all this has now been made, has in the past been made commercial. And so the flume and the city zoning map actually diverge. And so we look at that and we go, we're not going to go backwards in time and try and figure out how to make all this property now industrial, because it was changed for a reason by people before us. And so we look to continue the trend, and then we look to see what the owners are planning for this property. And so in that regard, these owners are looking to what we would call put in a planned unit development. Their plat, do we have that handy? We had it up a minute ago. Will look something like the Eagle Rock plat there we go. So this is their master plan. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah. Can I
That'd be
hand out
great.
copies?
Pardon?
Can I hand out copies?
We have that now, and it's up here, so we're good. Thank you.
Sweet. So yeah, we were originally looking for a place to
Can you
put.
pull that mic closer again? Thank you.
Yeah, we were originally looking for a place to put some of the homes that we're going to be doing through the dealership. And when we initially found this plat or this parcel being right across the street from an R3, we thought it might make sense for us to just go right and rezone it to be essentially exactly what there is across the street. So we're hoping to get that done.
Okay. So tonight, what we're actually considering is simply the rezone aspect of this. Now, we have this, I think that's called a concept plan, that's right, in this particular case. So this won't be the final drawing for any of you that are wondering. There'll be probably some changes in potentially in density and so on. For example, to get this kind of density in that area, you'll have to have what the city calls a planned unit development. And as we work through negotiations with this owner, there's things like, I'll just point out on this particular concept plan, there's no open space. And so there'll be an open space requirement. Typically in the city it's about 10%, but we'll work through all that. So 10% means there's something like 60 lots here, and so it's going to lose half a dozen maybe or something, depending on how the open space is configured.
Okay, makes sense.
Did I miss anything?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, that said, the public hearing is open. Any comments, please come up to the podium here and state your name, and we'll hear your comment. And please limit your comments to 3 minutes. If we time you out, we'll cycle somebody else through if there's any other comments, and you're welcome to come back up for another 3. Come on up.
Hi, I haven't heard much of what's been said, to be quite honest, but has the land been sold?
Yes, the property is now owned by the Swansons.
Basically, I'm saying, no, I don't like the idea, because I live on Eagle Rock.
Okay.
And what are they gonna build, if I may ask? Yeah, but what type of homes?
There's gonna be multiple different offers, and we can potentially go off some of the lots, so people can bring their own custom builder as well.
Rents or saving or selling? Selling. My personal concern is, who's gonna live there? Because I asked this because,
Did they ask you that when you bought your house?
but
Did anybody ask you that when you purchased your home?
did anybody ask me?
That question when you purchased your home?
No.
Okay.
You might think, I have an accent, but I'm an American citizen. I bothered to join. Now, what's
Do you regret that?
worrying is who's coming across the border? Are they going to be living there? If they were rentals, they could be. I had to take a test. 100% I passed. I had to pay to come into this country, to become a citizen. But what's bothering me is, who's gonna live there? One other thing, who's gonna live there?
No, go ahead.
California? Nobody in Parowan likes California. I'm sorry if any of you are Californians, but
I think I'm-
it's a fact. Go to Cedar, they'll tell you. But there's no water there, there's no sewer, there's no electric, there's no gas, etc.
Well, let me address a couple of those. The first one, we don't have laws and rules that tell us who can buy or who can rent in any housing, Eagle Rock for that matter, or any other housing district or, any other spot in town for that matter. And as far as water, sewer, and power goes, the developers are required to put that in at their expense.
Yeah.
And then the new, built into the price of those homes, those folks will pay impact fees. Now, it may be the developer that pays the impact fees up front, but those will be passed on to the people that buy those, homes. And so, when they pay the impact fee, what they've done, it's like a club, and you've now joined the club of Parowan, and they are on even footing with the regular citizens. They've paid their dues, and now they own part of the road and the parks, and just like we do. And then, going on into the future, they begin paying taxes just like we do. And so that's how we get them on even footing with us. So, there will be water, power, sewer, and so the developer has to bring water before they're gonna be able to build, so they will have to purchase water rights unless water rights came with the property, and so on. So all of that will be taken into account.
May I make one suggestion?
Most certainly.
If you're gonna do this, why don't you take over Eagle Rock?
Who take over Eagle Rock?
Pardon?
Who?
Why don't Parowan Council, city, whatever, why don't they take over Eagle
What do you
Rock?
mean by take over? 'Cause it's in the city,
No, well,
right?
excuse me, yeah, just let
It-
me interject here.
Yeah.
It's a planned unit development, and so typically a planned unit development is almost I don't wanna say a city within a city, but it's a definite unit within a city. And they're required to take care of their own streets, and you know how that works in yours. And so, this will be the same way. And so the answer is, why don't we do that, is you have CC&Rs, and it would be quite a feat for the city to waltz in there, and I'm suggesting, and I don't know, that wouldn't be cheap. I've never been involved in a city takeover, a planned unit development.
I used to work for the city, and I
Yes.
did ask one of the main people, definitely no, was the answer I got.
Yeah, well, yeah, I've heard that answer too.
You know, what I'm on about is like, silly little things like, you don't clear the snow down there.
And that's correct.
That's just one.
Right.
But yeah, I think generally the people there are not happy
Yeah.
with a lot being built there.
So my recommendation for that is that you take that up with the city manager, and rather than as an individual, I would circulate a petition, and I would bring a petition in and say,
It's not your responsibility.
we would have to have a play in that at some point, but we can't initiate that
We're just
action.
advisory. We're
Yeah.
just an advisory board. We pass this information on to the city council, and they make the ultimate decisions.
Gotcha.
We just advise.
Right. So, yeah, in different language,
Yeah.
we are an administrative body. We look at the rules, we interpret them, and we apply them. We don't have the liberty to bend the rule or do something different. When it comes to that, that's the city council. They are the legislative body.
Yeah.
So for them to do something like that, they would come to us and say, hey, we want to do this, what do we need to do? We would research all that, tell them what all the requirements are. We would make a recommendation of some sort to either proceed or not proceed, and then pass it to them, and then city council would vote, is how.
I just wanted to say we are not happy at the thought.
Noted. Thank you.
And you didn't state your name when you came up. I don't know if Judy has that on the records? Okay, thank you, sir. For the records, you needed to state your name, but Judy knows it. Thank you for your comments.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming out.
Yep.
Hopefully you'll be able to hear me better than I've heard the other two gentlemen. My name is Linda Rowley. I live also in Eagle Rock, and I have 3 concerns. First of all, you mentioned commercial. Does commercial take in agricultural? Is that all commercial?
No, agricultural would be a separate.
So on the other side of the water, that's agricultural, but on this side, it's all commercial all the way around.
We don't have that up.
On the other side of the water is county land.
It's county.
County, okay.
It's county.
My concern is, of course, the increased traffic and the exits. I only saw one exit on the side of it, and we've got 2 roads, and we're smaller than that, and I just hope that there will be more roads so that they can come in and out without it being a big bottleneck right there across the street from us.
I think there's 2 exits on this.
Yeah, it looks like there's 2.
It looks like there's 2 exits.
Did you see that?
I couldn't see it.
Yeah.
Pop that back up, Judy, please, the plat.
Well, I don't know how to read it, I guess. And my other concern is, you say high-density residential. Are we considered high-density in Eagle Rock?
Yes.
Because I would hate to see any 2-story buildings over there. They're not going to go up, or there's the option for them to go up.
There would be, yes.
Would be an option.
It would be an option to go up to 2 stories, which is, the limit's what, 25
They're going to
feet?
block my view of the beautiful mountains.
So I had never heard it put this way before, but about a month ago, I went to a seminar, and basically one of the governor's attorneys from up north, that's one of the pro-housing advocates, basically said people don't understand usually that they didn't buy the view. They thought they did, but and so as much as we dislike it, I've told my children and anybody that I ever run into,
Change is gonna come.
if you buy a place and there's open space around it, there is no guarantee that it's gonna stay that way or that it's gonna develop in the way that you would hope it would.
Can you show me on the frontage road where the exits are? I still don't know where they are.
Right there.
There's one right here and one right there.
So you'd be on this side?
So,
Across the street.
Yeah.
so then our roads would, meet up there,
Not
directly
necessarily.
opposite?
I
Not
don't know.
necessarily?
Yeah, I don't know.
Offset a little bit.
Okay, all right.
So the other thing
That'll be
to know is
interesting.
that that's not final, that's probably close, but we will look at that pretty hard about the traffic pattern going in and out,
Because there's a curve in the road too.
right? This is a concept plan,
Okay.
and by loose definition, a concept plan is just that. Put something on paper
Okay.
in the vicinity of what we would like to do. And then when it starts turning into a preliminary plan, then it's gonna start looking more like, getting
real
closer
thing.
to final.
So
So if you
are-
wanna see this again would be my recommendation. Now, there will be other public hearings and there'll be another chance to look at this stuff as this subdivision gets closer and it gets deeper into or closer to what I would call final phases. And just so everybody understands, this is just a rezone. This is not an annexation. It's
Right, I don't have any opposition to go from commercial to residential. I just wonder if the density is the same as ours and if the lot sizes are roughly the same as ours.
I think so. I counted Eagle Rock one time, drove through and counted the houses one by one, and
My.
you were in the 50s or something, and this is, right now, looks at 60, but again, as I mentioned earlier, open space will be taken into account, so it'll likely be closer to that.
So it's gonna be like an HOA?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out, and thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
Douglas Fox.
Good evening.
Anyway, I wanted to come out and see what it was all about. I have no problem with this rezone personally, except for all I ask is that the developer please consider vehicles turning around besides just doing the U through the subdivision. I deliver Meals on Wheels, and,
Oh,
and there's,
thank you for that.
I can do that, but anyway, some
I know the
some of
route.
some of the streets are really hard to turn around in. The trailer park across from the fairgrounds is really difficult, so, anyway, that's all. Thank you.
And the food gets cold while you go all the way around, right?
No, the trucks have a heated compartment and a cold compartment, so the food stays.
Oh, cool.
It's just us.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any other comments regarding this rezone?
One, two, three.
All right, at this point,
I make a motion to close the public hearing
And to open the,
and open the regular meeting. I thought we had to do.
we don't,
we can do it all in one.
do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Yes, say aye.
Aye.
Or R.
Yes, she's on. You're voting.
Okay, at this point, are there any conflicts with items on the agenda?
No.
None for me.
None for me.
I have none.
Tracy, do you have any?
No.
Thank you. Keith doesn't.
I-
All right, noted, no conflicts?
You don't think you do?
Well, you were just asking me because I know Heritage Hills,
Yeah.
and I've been,
Is your mic
part of
on?
that development. I said Heritage Hills is on here, and I've been involved in that development. So I was just kind of questioning if I possibly could have a conflict of interest that way.
I recommend declaring it. You can still discuss it,
Okay?
and I'd recommend not voting. You can vote if you
Okay.
want to, but.
Yeah.
Okay, with that, in our regular now meeting, we're on zone change for the very thing we were just discussing, and that would be the change from commercial to R3. And those lot numbers no, that's not right. That lot number is A 2019-0003-0000. I think I got the zeros right. Comments?
I feel it would be beneficial to change that to an R3. I don't see any problems with it, where you've got Eagle Point right across the street. I don't feel like we're creating an island or anything like that. Excuse me, sorry, my voice is like,
Get real
Yeah.
close to the mic.
I've been cheering too loud and I've lost my
Oh.
voice.
I agree. I think that if you're going to change it to a residential zone, R3 is the most appropriate zone since there is already an R3 located right there.
I also believe that it fits in well, that vicinity and that density in that area. And as I mentioned, the city will look hard at the development plan for that.
Well, I would make a motion, but I sound horrible, so someone else can.
Are you
Yes.
comments?
No.
Okay.
That was a lot of lead up to no.
Elected no. No.
Thank
We'll be more involved should this get, voted and passed, we'll obviously be more involved from a density perspective. But the zone, I would be very nice.
Thank you. Tracy, any comments?
No, I mean, I agree.
Thank you. Councilman Burton?
From looking at all that's been presented, I think this kind of falls, it follows the evolution of the flume. It follows, with the use of that area that's proposed as well as this, and that commercial, highway service. So I don't see any issue with it.
I don't have a problem.
Thank you. I'd accept a motion at this point.
I make a motion that we change the zone from commercial to R3 for lot A-219-003-0000.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Any other discussion from anybody? No,
Or are we making a positive recommendation to council?
To Keith's point, we would be making a positive recommendation
Oh.
to the city council.
Okay.
Would you like to restate the motion?
Yes. Sorry, I forgot we
That's-
can't, we have no authority here. So yes, I make a positive recommendation that the zone is changed from commercial to R3 for the property stated. You don't need me to say the number again, right, Judy?
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Again, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? No opposition. Thank you very much. Congratulations, folks. Thanks for coming in. Bye.
Good night.
We are now at approval of the minutes from the meeting on July 19th. Any comments on the minutes?
I have one comment.
What did I do with
Any conflicts with the agenda, just to let you know that it's the Little Salt Lake Service Club is the name of the organization. Just add the word little. And that's the only thing I saw incorrect.
Anybody else? Judy, I have a couple. I apologize, I reviewed these late. On page 3, about the 4th paragraph, it says, it begins with, "There was a discussion." I'd like that to read, "Allison McWilliams initiated a discussion." That's the name of the person that came up and started that conversation.
Fine.
Jerry, what'd that say?
Pardon me?
That one that you corrected.
What happened?
Did it say Salt Lake?
Little Salt Lake Service Club.
I know, but you said, what did it say?
Salt Lake Service Club.
Oh,
Didn't add the word little.
definitely wanna correct that.
I would think.
Okay.
It is the name of the organization.
Judy, one more, on page 7. At the big paragraph at the bottom of the page, it says, "Heather said she would not put less than 4,000 square feet because 3,999 is considered a tiny home."
Good catch.
It should be
400.
400 and 399.
Yeah. Yeah, 400 and then 399.
Mm,
Yeah, that's a huge difference.
And that's it. And I'm sorry I didn't catch those and, that's it.
So
Okay.
you want me to make a motion?
Please.
Okay, make a motion that we approve the minutes from June 19th, 2024 with the corrected, 3 items. 1
I
from Jerry, 2 from Larry.
I second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None opposed. The ayes have it. Thank you. We now have before us a subdivision request or an application for a subdivision plat amendment, lots 24 and 25 in the Heritage Hills subdivision at 841 South. Is that right? And 859 South, 1600 West, okay. And that's for the Websters. The lot numbers on those are A 2065-0024, followed by 4 zeros, and A 2065-0025, followed by 4 zeros.
Hello, my name is Bob Platt, I'm the surveyor. Plat amendment for the Websters. It's
Nice to
simply,
meet you, Bob.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming.
combining those 2 lots into one. That's what the plat, to combine those 2 lots into 1 lot, so they can
Thank
build
you.
across the lot line.
You have any questions while Bob is here?
Just planning on putting up one building then, is that the idea?
I think that their plan is to build 1 house combine the lots into one so they can build across the lot line.
Okay.
Mhm.
So instead of there being 2 lots, there'll be 1 lot.
Right.
Lot 24A, I guess what we called it.
So that's not gonna require a zone change or anything silly like that, right?
No.
Right. So I have a couple things here that pertain to that will be interesting discussion. I guess the owners are not here? No. No. So primarily, there's a consideration for the water. So in 2022, the city passed code that required, just hear me out, on a lot split, that when a new lot is created, so if you have two lots and you do, or one lot and you divide it into two, and you have to bring water to the city for the second lot. And in that regard, looking at this is exactly the opposite. This is taking two lots that actually have now a right for a water connection with the city, because lots created before February 24th, 2022, all have a right or a privilege to connect to the city water for one home at a 3/4 inch pipe size. That being said, the city has no mechanism. This is the first case we've encountered, and first time we've actually thought about it. So what do you do when you take two lots and combine them? You basically end up with a loose water privilege. There's a couple options. One option, I'm not saying these are the only options, but they're the primary options. One is to table this and hold out for the city to change the code, and there would be no guarantee that, you know, there would be any benefit to that water right. The city could simply come in and say, we don't deal with that. If you do that, you basically forfeit it and you're done. The other option is proceed tonight and straight out forfeit that water privilege. And of course, the advantage to that is there's no delay to the project. You're not waiting for the city to do anything. You just, you know, move to the next step in your process. So it's kind of really a decision point on how the owners would like to proceed.
Well, it's my understanding that they would like to proceed with building a home on the one combined lot, and that they build across the lot line. I guess you're saying, do they want to forfeit, because right now there'd be two water services out there, 2 meter boxes, just no, yeah.
Yeah, one of those would be forfeited.
I
You can't have two water connections to one home.
I assume that would be the way it is, yeah. Why would they oppose that? Why would they oppose that? They're just gonna have one dwelling there.
Well, I don't know, and I guess my direct question is, do you have the authority to make that decision for that owner?
I don't, but I don't want to, I know they're anxious to move this process along, because, who reviews the building plans for for Parowan City? The county?
Yeah.
County Building Department? The county building department is saying, you gotta do this cause
Well, you'll deal with
you can't review the
Parowan
plans
City
because
first.
the lot's not combined. That's what they're saying.
Pardon me?
They're saying, the way I understand it, they're saying that the plan review for the home won't be, they won't do it until this is taken care of.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Until when?
Till this is taken care of.
Oh, right, okay.
I guess, Larry, my question is, water connection and a water right are actually two different entities.
That's correct.
They would still own the water right because they own the property.
No, it's not two lots anymore.
In the city's
You
water
can-
plan, we don't have any water rights assigned to each lot.
Oh.
We have an entitlement given to that lot.
Right.
Okay.
It's really based on this date. I mean, you go read the code and it says if a lot existed before this date, they have this inherent right to hook up to city water without bringing water rights.
Right.
That's correct.
And anything created after that date,
Bring your own water right.
bring your own water.
Right.
But again, the city also has code that says you can't have two water connections. You can't have 2 meters on a single lot. So when you combine a lot, each one of those lots now has a meter and a connection. They're gonna have to forfeit one of those connections.
The connection and the water right.
That's
No.
correct.
No.
A water
The
privilege,
connection.
I would call
The,
it.
the water right
Gotta stop
already,
saying that
There's
word.
probably not a meter in either of those right now, because,
Right.
there's just a meter setter with the meter ready to be put in at the appropriate time.
Yeah, you'll still have to pay impact
Right.
fees and all of
Sure,
that.
and I assume they would, okay, I would assume they'd be fine with not having the other connection, because they're gonna need just one connection. But if you're gonna hold this up, because
Keith, you're,
I'm not gonna speak for them, I mean, I'm not.
I think what Larry's saying is that if they wanted to somehow retain, go through the process and they're able to retain one of those water connections, maybe they could utilize it on another lot or convey it to another party or something. I mean, that's something that would have to be, well, you shake your head, Keith, but it has to be reviewed by the
Right, as Larry said, there's no mechanism in place. There's
Right.
no verbiage that deals with it
Right.
at all.
That's
But
what I'm saying,
I just want to
until,
be clear that we're not dealing with a water right, we're dealing with a
there's
or
never a water
water
right. The city, when you bring water, it goes back to the city and you're just given a connection.
Right.
Right.
The city holds the water rights, so.
So-
There's literally no advantage to them holding on to the second connection.
Yeah.
In fact,
Well-
there's a penalty to it.
there is, what would the penalty be?
So,
Well, not a penalty, but code does say you can't have two connections.
Right.
Correct. So, well, let somebody else weigh in. Who's next?
no, that's
Who's-
okay.
Could
I was
I-
just gonna
could I
say,
do
I've
that?
sold properties and a lot of the time they've just put one house on it. In fact, Councilman Harris has a house on 2 lots.
Yes,
And so, I mean, it's been done a lot in Parowan
it has.
before, a lot.
Well, right, we're talking something that doesn't exist, a mechanism that would have to go through the water board and through the proper procedures to see if that wanted to be something that would be addressed.
So,
But as of right now, there is no mechanism,
So-
so.
Right.
so when I've sold houses and they've done that, they've just forfeited it and they've had water board or anything like that.
Oh, no,
They've
no,
just-
no, no,
They
they
just
don't
paid their
have, right
impact
now,
fee.
mechanism. I'm saying
Yeah.
to create
Okay.
one, you'd
Yeah,
have to
see,
say.
for the one hooked up, had one hooked up, everything's great.
Jamie, the other thing, the example that you put forth, like Harris's home on
Mhm.
2 lots,
Mhm.
I'd suggest that it might have been built before 2022, so it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yes.
Because these rules were not in effect.
Mhm.
So these are relatively new.
Okay, I
Give us,
would just
yeah, I
like,
see you, just give me a moment. Tracy, you're up.
I just thought that I could maybe give some background on Heritage Hills in that, it was prior, of course, when the development was established, it was prior to the 2022 change. And actually, I mean, at that point, we did not have to bring water to the city, but we did pay for the infrastructure to be there. So I guess my question is that, again, it's not water rights. And it seems to me that you pay the impact fee to the city to be able to utilize that water, correct?
Mhm.
And so in this case, where you have 2 lots and they're joining to one, then technically they're really only paying one impact fee, right? And therefore, they really don't have access to additional water because they just have one connection.
Right,
Mhm.
that's the way that makes sense.
Keith, go ahead.
And I'm sorry, I think you meant to wear a dairy free shirt tonight, but I just wanted to make sure that,
What? My family owns Hermes.
I
I
know.
think the dairy freeze is awesome, and we love Scott Folbert, just so you know.
Just being territorial. On your plat map, you only have the one public utility easement off the front of the property, and I just wanna make sure that's the only one that exists. We're not gonna have to, vacate any utility easements that might run laterally through the property.
I don't think there's
I don't think
there's
so.
side lot line
Yeah.
easements, so it would have to be vacated. I think, yeah, we're just keeping the existing front.
'Kay.
Yeah, good question.
Doug, this isn't a public hearing. I'll allow you just because you're the only person in the room, so I won't have to let 50 other people speak, but, you'll have to step to the mic, please.
You're being recorded. You're live.
Douglas Fox again. I'm on the water board and our meeting is this coming Tuesday, so I will have this put on the agenda for our water meeting.
I appreciate that, actually,
Thanks.
because it just came up,
I know,
so.
yeah, so,
I think we've got this one resolved, but
So,
Mhm.
Doug, when on Tuesday?
I'm not sure, I haven't seen the deal yet, but ours is always on the second Tuesday of the month. Second Wednesday?
Yeah,
Second Wednesday, okay. So it'll be the 10th,
okay.
but yeah. Anyways, so I'll make sure
very
it's
good.
on the.
All right, well, thank you very much,
Thanks.
appreciate it. And Dan is well-versed on this now, so if he's there, and Keith, if need be. Do you have any other questions or comments? My understanding is, we think it's resolved that they'll pay, by paying one impact fee, they'll have one right and one lot, that both, which in this case, they both existed, it'll be fine.
Yep.
I'd entertain a motion at this point.
I make a motion, we get to decide this, right? Or are we're not sending this to city council?
No.
Okay. So I make a motion that we, how am I gonna say this?
Combine lots 24 and 25.
Combined, yeah, lots 24 and 25 in Heritage Hills subdivision, into one lot, 24A.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
Any other discussion?
Wait, we got a hand up.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the subdivision plat amendment combining lots 24 and 25 into one lot, 24A, at Heritage Hills subdivision.
So, do I have a second?
I second it.
Any other discussion? So I have one more piece to discuss, I just wanna lay out there, just so we have a running example. Keith, you jump in on any of this wherever you'd like. So, once this, entitlement or privilege for this second water connection, for this now would be one lot, is, forfeited, let's just say the house gets built as planned, and let's just say a year after that, there's an application for an external ADU on that piece of property. Right now, by code, with an external ADU, there could if it wasn't run off of the existing meter and the house and so on, there would be another impact fee, and there would be a request to furnish water for that external ADU. So that's really the issue that's at stake, and that one is a pretty good example.
But I thought that we already established that with external and internal ADUs, you can't have a second water meter.
No, I think we left it open. I'd have to look at code, but remember, that's not code yet, that's draft.
Right, no, but I mean, I thought that that was code, that you can only have one meter.
Well, what I'm saying is,
Yeah,
we do not have code right now for external ADUs. So yes, for a lot, you can have one connection. But by the time we finish writing and getting external ADU code approved, it is potentially, you'll be allowed a second connection and a second meter for that external ADU. And so I'm just saying, consider that, especially when you go to water board, Mr. Fox. Keith, you kind of see that?
I can, yeah, but I don't have any input at this time, I think.
Okay.
I was just trying to think, about the CCNRs in the subdivision and how that would prohibit it.
Would a
Possibly.
ADU be prohibited?
Well, I'm trying to think back of our CCNRs, and I know that we said I believe you couldn't have multiple dwellings on it.
You can?
You can't.
Oh. Well, if that's the case, then we wouldn't be dealing with it. It would hit the subdivision CCNRs before it came before us, and so that wouldn't be a problem. However,
Hopefully.
if indeed they were to get a waiver, or it was, the CCNRs were modified and it was allowed, that would be the example. So,
Is there a way that the city could, I don't know, cap off or remove that secondary water, source?
well, I don't think that's the problem. I don't think the, physical location of that meter is, or the meter box is a problem. I mean, certainly they could put a meter on it and lock it if they wanted to. So that's not really what
Is
we're
there
worried
secondary water out there?
No.
I didn't think so, so I couldn't follow you, I guess. Oh, second, I thought you said secondary.
An additional
Excuse
water
me.
meter,
Is
yeah.
that-
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're a farmer.
We're good. All right, any further discussion? All right, we have a motion on the table to approve this, request. In a second.
Jamie seconded.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Yes?
I mean, I feel there's a conflict of interest, so I'm not,
She abstained.
Thanks for that. Judy?
Thank you for your time, have a good
Well,
Thank you.
thanks,
Appreciate
Bob.
You too.
Have a good trip home.
See you next time.
Onion rings too, please.
Yeah, next time bring some onion rings.
Do you need any of these back, or?
I don't, unless Keith wants them or Judy needs them.
Okay.
Nope, they're,
'Cause this isn't going to council, so, okay.
Well, I just want to say something here while we have a second. I appreciate all of you coming out on the eve of the holiday, and I know you want to get out of here. And in that regard, our next item is always a long one, external accessory dwelling unit code development. In this case, I'm mixed feelings, but I'm happy to report, I recommend we table this item because I did not have time to do any code development. So I need a motion and a second.
I make a motion, we table item number 7, accessory unit, dwelling unit code development.
I second it.
Go for it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Best idea tonight.
Aye.
Arr.
Aye, sorry, all in favor,
Aye.
sorry.
Any opposed? Okay, the next motion. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not quite done. I got in a hurry. All right, we've got reports.
Wait a minute.
I'll wait for Keith.
Like a mother-in-law
Wow,
suite,
that might be a record.
tiny cottage.
Under an hour.
We're working on,
We're not out of here yet,
developing
but we're
code
close.
for it.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
Shysta.
tax code for internal,
Are you to reports, Larry?
accessory
Pardon?
dwelling unit.
Are you to report?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Keith to get
Oh.
back. I don't want to say.
Anticipating
Thank you.
that they're gonna, state's gonna come up with.
Call me when you need me.
as well.
Good night.
We're working on,
We like doing it.
I mean, we have to be in alignment
right.
Thanks for doing the Meals on Wheels.
The state will say a
Yeah, we
bottom
substitute.
line, and then we
Oh,
can
you do?
Yeah, we're substitute drivers.
Oh, well, thank you too.
It's fun, I mean, it's great.
provide the bare minimum of what the state says.
And we get free food too. It's wonderful.
I'm gonna look closer. If I see Jerry driving, I'm just gonna pull off the road.
Yeah, that's,
Okay, here we go. Reports, Councilman Burton, if you'd like to start.
I just wanna remind everybody that they've set up that open house meeting July 10th at 6 p.m. here in the council room for the Meisner annexation application. He's supposed to be here, they're supposed to do a presentation, so I would get the word out and,
When's that again?
it's July
10th
10th
at 6 o'clock.
at 6 o'clock here in the council chambers.
The 10th, he said.
Okay.
Yep, 6 p.m.
Mhm.
Right. July tenth.
I think the message is likely come early, if you wanna sit down.
What is it?
It's gonna be a barn.
So,
Well,
Well,
the
who knows?
direction I got was that they're going, of course, they'll empty all the tables, get more chairs in here, accommodate all that they possibly can, and
Okay.
maybe overflow into the hall. If they have to, they might do what do you call it, a audio, or like a Zoom, whatever, into the,
Right.
Oh.
in the
lobby,
conference
huh?
room. But then, if it looks like that it isn't gonna work, there's too many, that they may have to reschedule or do something.
Yeah, the plan B is they would reschedule, but for now, they
Yeah.
think it'll work.
any update on how far along they are with the county?
Well, it's
Name
beyond
one.
the county. It's,
Yeah.
it's,
You went to city council already.
Yeah.
No, I know that, but I mean, the county has said that it doesn't create an island?
I mean, the county's good. They're,
Yeah.
The county is good? Oh, okay, sorry, I just,
Yeah.
An island.
you know how the county has, the county won't approve annexation. It goes through the county first if that is an island out on its own.
Oh,
Oh, it butts right up against Parowan City.
yeah.
I thought that there was property in
No.
between.
Well, it's kind of there's some of those additional properties that there's some,
right, there were a few properties
That
on
they
the
brought
fringes
in.
that are being forced into the annexation.
Oh,
yeah, there is some discussion on that,
Yeah.
on those properties.
Right.
But that won't affect
that won't affect, okay.
Again, I highly recommend, if you've got the time, to show up, 'cause it's a really good place to get some information, maybe even ask a few questions. I've got 50 or so on my list, and
3 minutes.
I'm just gonna check them off. I'm not gonna ask any of them. I'm just gonna, save the rest for when it's our turn. Dave, anything else?
No, I don't.
Okay. Jamie?
Nope.
Jerry?
I have nothing.
I have nothing.
No. I'm excited to be here, and it's just be patient with me.
Thank you, we
in
appreciate
learning.
you. I'm glad that you're vocal, so that's good. Keith, anything?
Yeah, just like I like to do, just recap the administrative permits that have been issued since the last time we've met now. At 156 North, 600 West, a building permit for residence was issued. 166-1 West, 200 South, this is the KB Express. They've applied to just replace the KB Express signage with I think it's On the Run is what it will be switched to, now the KB doesn't have it anymore. But it all fits and conforms with what's already there, they're just changing it. So size-wise and dimensions, everything stays. And then 176 West Center Street, an administrative permit for a shed.
What, a shed? Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. I really appreciate those updates. I have a couple things. So, you were handed a sheet of paper that says 2023 update. That is for your land use book, the Land Use 101.
Oh.
That I just fold mine in half and stick it in the front cover. I think the biggest thing there, they talk about reporting requirements. We're always kicking those around about what do we do here and what do we do there. And, but there are a couple other things in there that's always good when you think you have your mind made up on something, and if you're in that book, just check this page to make sure that, there wasn't some update. The update's rather small compared to the, body of information in this reference book. Secondly, and this is just because I live close and I had to be noticed by the county. So the county has sent out the notice for a Daveco LLC annexation, which is 20 acres immediately west of 600 West and north of 200 north. And it extends, it appears to extend across I-15. So the total annexation, and when I say across I-15, I mean just across, not, it doesn't take in any properties, it just takes in the freeway, according to the map.
So is that like across the street from Sky Ranch and Mountain Valley?
That means nothing to me.
Yes,
That
so
property?
yeah.
Where there's like an old barn?
Yeah, kinda next door to the Harris property there.
Yeah,
Can-
that's right.
To the east of that.
Okay.
Can you say those, coordinates again? 'Cause those things that Jamie
Sure,
said didn't
you
mean
bet.
anything to me.
It's north,
Right there.
I'm sorry, it's west of 600 west.
No, wouldn't it be down
Yes.
the
White
pink,
spot.
like we're asking, yeah, right
You
there.
see where the green
Oh.
curve, yeah, there you go,
White.
that white.
Yeah, that white.
stuff. Perfect, thanks, Judy.
'Cause that's shown in counties.
So that white piece that is not freeway evidently is about 8.3 acres, if I remember correctly.
600.
And then the freeway makes up another 12 acres. So the total annexation request is, or petition, I should say, encompasses 20 acres. And the actual property that's developable is just over 8 acres.
Judy, would you pull up you've got it up already there, kind of the county plat map, and go to that? Correct me if I'm wrong, Larry, but there is one parcel that will be forced to annex in as well, as part of this. You're okay, keep going up. Yep, that parcel that's down in the lower left corner.
Now, I saw that, and didn't bring the document, 'cause I put it in a folder for gets to the city. And I saw that piece of property there, but I kinda thought it was not being pulled in. But it might, well, it's already in the city, isn't it? It's in the city.
No, it's not.
It's not? It's county?
Yeah.
Oh, then it'll likely be pulled in.
Yeah.
And I probably just don't remember the map. I apologize.
Yeah. But their house,
Actually, I do remember.
Their house
the
their
map.
house is in city.
The house is in the city, that other piece of property is not. So, yeah, I think that other piece
Between it,
is
the house.
coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 8.3, which likely means that
That makes sense.
Dave Minear actually is Daveco LLC. So his piece must be something shy of 8 acres, I would guess. Anyway, I don't wanna, it's not before us, it's just FYI, since we're in planning and zoning. Like to keep up.
Actually, this could be considered an island right now.
Right,
That was
and it's going away. I'm sure they're dancing at the county.
Yeah.
Just out of, to clarify, you said that it did go across I-15 or no? 'Cause what I'm looking at
it
didn't
does-
look like it.
It does not take in I-15. I'm sorry, it takes in I-15.
It does as it has to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so some segment of I-15, not the whole thing, but
Yeah.
beyond the 8 acres that were down there that we were just looking at, some
Yeah.
12 acres of,
Gotcha.
It actually goes down flush with the existing city boundary,
oh,
Judy,
okay.
the gray to the north
Oh,
and
perfect.
or the green to the north and the
Yeah.
gray, blue to the south. So,
Okay,
Yeah.
so it does factor that in, but only because it has to.
gotcha.
So it doesn't do anything for us but help us get maybe grant money or something.
It's
I don't know.
gonna get
So,
inevitable.
also last
Down
meeting,
here,
in
fact.
do you wanna share that with all of us, please?
Huh? We're just trying to see some of this that hasn't been annexed in. You sure that down, some of that isn't involved with that, where that, Ace Hardware and things are?
I'm sure, in this case. The notice I got only includes the,
Oh, I know, but
Yeah.
I'm wondering, is this map accurate?
oh, I can't attest to that. I suspect not. But actually, the Ace Hardware and stuff is on.
It's right there,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be close, Keith.
All that land, I believe, is in there, in that red in the corner there.
Okay, so that white that is not,
It's county.
Right,
Okay.
and that is consistent, that is county land.
Mhm.
So that, well, go on, that's whatever. That other would be the Painted Hills, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you're correct.
Anything else? No. Okay. So at the last meeting, we talked about the subdivision code revision and the interaction with the Hanson Group. And we had to come up with a decision on, what process we wanted to use, and there was 3 of those in the Hanson proposal. I didn't bring that, I don't really wanna get in, this is not the time to discuss it. We'll have it on the agenda in the next meeting. And if you've got a copy of their proposal, bring it with you, that's the best visual that we have. And so we picked the combined approach. And Keith, Dan, and I met on the July 2nd, actually, and discussed that and a couple other things for a couple hours and walked through some of those approaches and scenarios, and we believe that's gonna be the best one. But we also told you we'd bring it back here, and we will do that, and it'll be the next meeting. And then also at in the next agenda, July 17th, we're gonna have the master transportation plan. The engineers have asked that it be put on the agenda and that we supply any comments that we have to them sometime in this next week. So that'll be our last chance to comment. I mean, we can comment in discussion in our public meeting, but need to be prepared to make a recommendation at this point. So we've had that material now for a couple weeks. We'll have it in another week or so take a look at it. That is all I have.
Can, I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
At the end of last meeting, was it with referring to external ADUs? Were we supposed to look at how, if other cities had minimums and maximum sizes or that kind of thing?
That was
that-
part of one of our discussions. I think we kinda left off where we had determined what we were gonna do with maximums, and we weren't gonna address maximums. But we talked about we needed to address minimums, and I think we stopped the conversation there.
Okay, so it
So-
was minimums. I knew that there was something, and I was looking at it, but I just wanted to clarify.
Yeah, and so what we were trying to do, without getting into a lot of discussion, we were trying to figure out how to stay out of tiny home space so that ADUs, when they popped up at the same time, it wouldn't be a
Right,
tiny home discussion, so.
so yeah, at least above 400. Okay,
Yes, and, yeah.
okay.
Judy, anything from you? All right, if there are any other comments before all right, we're ready for one more motion.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
I need a second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We're good to go. The ayes have it. Thank you.